Here we are, it's Saturday. It's rather overcast, but it's going to get better. So Jeanie has now been joined by Arlene, and we're on our day trip round about the central area of Scotland. And our first stop today is a new tourist attraction. As you can see, they're still building visitor centres and things, but the main attraction is a new structure made out of stainless steel called the Kelpies. It's a monument in respect to the workhorse of Scotland that was the mainstay of farming and industry hundreds of years ago. There's the girls just having a photo shoot. Jean had Arlene and Jeanie up against the sign which says the Kelpies are here. Had your horses. Had your horses. Hold your horses. A nice shot from here. It's a lovely sculpture, I must admit. One of the few things I think was probably worth its money. That canal there is part of the Forth and Clyde Canal network, which comes up from the River Forth to here, to this basin, and it goes onwards to join up there with the Union Canal, which is Edinburgh to Glasgow, and it joins at a lovely spot which is right under the Kelpies. Very tall, beautiful looking sculpture, and its partner over here I'm going to fall backwards if I'm not careful. All made out of stainless steel. Certainly cost a few bob. Here we are at the scene of the Battle of Bannockburn. Jean just explaining to the girls all the details, because we've just watched a programme on the television about the Battle of Bannockburn, because it's 700 years ago next week in fact that the battle took place over a 2-day period, and it's quite popular just now on television programmes, especially with the forthcoming referendum. But anyway, they've erected quite a few historical structures to commemorate the events that will contain lots of details, I would imagine, and yeah, full of interesting facts and figures. There's Arlene taking a photograph. Apparently the English came from that direction at the Battle of Bannockburn. And now we have Jeanie taking photographs of the statue of King Robert the Bruce, King of Scots. All the Scots kings and queens were called King or Queen of Scots, whereas all the English monarchs are kings and queens of England. So the Scots kings and queens were kings and queens of Scots. The English were kings and queens of England. And in the distance between the trees we have Stirling Castle that the English forces were trying to relieve, but they never made it, so subsequent to the battle the English garrison surrendered and Bruce took over Stirling Castle. So there's the two sisters, and we have a look at it. There is a lovely statue. Quarter to 12 on Saturday, so clearly the clock's not working, and the clock is in Bridge of Allen High Street, quite a busy wee high street. We stopped here for a cup of coffee. Bridge of Allen is just outside Stirling, but it's not as busy as Stirling. We're going to stop at the castle, but the girls pointed out they've been to the castle, they've been to two of the castles, so they wanted to sell something new. And apparently one of Jeanie's pals used to have some association with Bridge of Allen, so these shots might bring back some fond memories. The girls have disappeared, which is a pity because I'm desperate for a comfort break and a cup of coffee. Well, that's us just finished lunch. Very nice it was indeed. Ended up with chips with it for some reason. I think we're going now looking for shoes. Let's hope they're not going to be too long. But it's still very, very warm, very close. I think the rain won't be far away by the feel of things. There's a restaurant that Jeanie thinks her friend used to frequent while in Bridge of Allen. That's them all chatting away about rather heavyweight basset hound. He's some size of a dog.
Well, they say he's big feet. No.
That's the Sheriff Muir Inn, so we've stopped at Sheriff Muir Inn on Sheriff Muir itself, which is a desolate spot. The scene of a large battle between the Cromwell or government forces and the Royalists many, many years ago. So we just stopped for a photo opportunity. The hills you see are the Ochils, but it gives you a very nice view overlooking Bridge of Allen, from which we've just come from. So that's the Sheriff Muir Inn, and there's Arlene having a little breath of fresh air. She'll sleep well tonight.
Yes.
We've stopped at Falkland and met the first rain of the day, just a slight breeze, still very humid. And we're looking at Falkland Palace, which is the Royal Palace. Various monarchs stayed there, including King James. It's famous because it had a lion's den at one time, and it had lions gifted from the King of Ethiopia, the Emperor of Ethiopia. And also, it's got the oldest real tennis court in the world. Real tennis as opposed to lawn tennis. So it's a form of tennis where you're allowed to stop the ball off roofs and walls before it landed over the net. So quite an unusual game of tennis. But the oldest real tennis court in the world is in Falkland Palace, along with a lion's den that used to have lions gifted from the Emperor of Ethiopia, King James. King of Scots. It's a girl just been having a peek into the palace. In the background is one of the hills known as East Lowland. There's two, East Lowland and West Lowland. Part of the Lowland Hills, and we'll be going between the two of them on our way down to Scotland Well. Here's the signpost which says Royal Tennis Court, but that's real tennis, which I mentioned earlier, real tennis, not lawn tennis. Here they are, eating their ice creams in the rain. Brilliant. I thought we would be finished in Falkland by now, but the girls have found another shop to go to, so it could be here for ages. The girls are drinking from the well, Scotland Well. They're looking for the plaque that tells you about the waters. The plaque should say that the waters have healing qualities. They were reputed to have cured King Robert the Bruce's father of leprosy. And as you can see,
what else does it cure?
the water,
Who knows? Hives, scurvy,
bubbles,
Arthritis?
I'm doing it, Jim. You realise?
bubbles up. Yeah.
Does it cure arthritis?
Oh yeah.
No, I heard in fact it can cure impotency in men. You can either drink it or rub it on, it has the same effect.
It's good water though.
We're in Dunfermline now. It's 5:15, so unfortunately the church has just shut, which is unfortunate because Robert the Bruce is buried there, his body at least, in his crypt, which is a lovely thing. It's under the pulpit of the church. So we're wandering through the churchyard. Apparently William Wallace's mother is buried under a tree in here somewhere, under a blackthorn tree, did they say? Oh, there it is. So that's the tree under which William Wallace's mother's buried.
That's been a big one that's been cut down, hasn't it?
That coloured building means it was at one time a royal residence. That's where one of the King James was buried. So we're just wandering around because we'll be able to see the palace from our side. Here's where we have Queen Margaret, or Saint Margaret, laid to rest. She was the Queen, King Malcolm's Queen, and she's the Queen that North Queensferry and South Queensferry are named after. She came north to get married. She crossed the Forth at what is now Queensferry, or Queen's Passage, so hence the name South Queensferry and North Queensferry. But she lies just outside the church. I don't know where the King Malcolm's buried. Probably here as well, but this is Dunfermline Church and Abbey. And the girls are just going up to this walled area. And if you look over the wall, you can see the remains of the royal palace which is now in ruins.
Bridge. Yeah, it's a bridge.
Yeah, we're at North Queensferry for a change. I'm looking over the Port Rail Bridge, the side of which is obviously South Queensferry. And swinging round, we just catch the current Forth Road Bridge, the new one being built upstream, going to be called the Queensferry Passage. And in front of us is one of the old slipways for one of the old original ferries. There's another slipway just upstream, 100 yards, for the ferries that ran regularly until they opened the bridge. That was the Sir Walter Scott and Mary Queen of Scots were the two ferries, which I travelled on a good few times. So, a lot of useful information here about the building off the bridge, etc. Quite a imposing structure. We're just off for our tea now, roughly there. On the other side, there's the south side of the bridge into West Lothian, then on back to Linlithgow.